So you're busy creating powerful content, you're showing up, you're marketing, and you're putting yourself out there, but your DMs are kind of dry. Your conversion rates, it's kind of not really as high as you would want it to be. You're making some sales, but it's far and in between, right? Your DMs, there's like crickets in there. There's not much conversations going on, right? And you know, as a business owner, that conversations is what leads to conversions, right? And so if you're not having conversations in your marketing, if you're not activating any type of excitement or any type of interest or any compelling converting messaging, your sales will suffer as a result of that in your business. And so in this episode of the Daily Dose with yours truly, we're going to be talking about how you can never, ever, 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 how to never run out of content ideas and activate converting messaging, right? So this is just one of the phases of my CPR framework, and I'm going to be breaking down how you can use my story selling framework to help you to never run out of content ideas. You're going to be pulling stories from everywhere. You're going to see content all around you. And once you start to use this part of your brain and train your brain to think in this manner, to create conversion driven content, to really invoke emotion through storytelling in your messaging, it's going to convert so much more and so much better in your business. You're going to see sales through the roof. Okay. And I'm just super excited. Before I jump into that, I just want to share with you who I am. For those of you who are not familiar, my name is Janel Ranée. I am your faithologist. I am a certified life and business mindset coach, and I help entrepreneurial moms and coaches to grow their business. I help them to be able to profit passively from their business, profit intentionally, aligning their purpose with their God-given aligning their business with their God-given purpose, and really growing their business to be able to be present and to be able to work from anywhere in the world and be present with their families, right? Be present with their children. That is a part of my own story where I was working, as a nurse, and I felt so confined to the four walls of the hospital setting. And I just knew God was calling me for more, but I couldn't put my finger on what that more was. I just knew that I could not continue to clock into a hospital setting for another 30 years. Like, it was draining me. As much as I loved serving and I love my profession as a nurse. I have the gift of healing, but through my own journey, I was able to discover like my purpose was deeper than the four walls of a hospital. And so this is my passion. This is my mission, to help other moms, other working moms, to really go deep and to see what their true divine identity and what their true divine calling on this earth is, right? And so I help them to not only discover their purpose, but to build a business in alignment with their God-given purpose so that they can profit from their purpose passively within my first tier and also through coaching in my higher tier offer. And so the Daily Dose is actually an acronym for Divine Overflow of Spirit-Led Empowerment, where I sit with the Lord every morning and I just get a word, and whatever the Lord puts on my heart to share is what I share with you. And it's to help empower you. It's to help equip you. It's to help encourage you to go forth and to really fulfill the plan and the purpose that God has for you, and to really grow your business, your purpose-driven business, and serve the people you're called to serve. And so on today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to never run out of content ideas and activate converting messaging. There's so much that I can talk about. As I was sitting with the Lord this morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could talk about that. I could talk about this. It is just so, you can tell how excited I am about this topic. It's not something that I often speak about, but because I have seen a shift in how I've been creating and just how much better my conversions are ever since I started story selling, and just having this framework to really be able to help you to be able to create converting messaging. And this is literally phase 2 of my program, where I help my clients to really be able to not only, the first step is literally to create their signature offer, right? Crafting their signature offer, a compelling offer, but also activating converting marketing. You can have, and you want marketing that connects, that builds connection with your audience, but really what you truly want is converting marketing, right? You want to have that connection, but then you want to stir up that activation within your clients, within your audience, to convert. That is the whole purpose of marketing. That's the whole purpose of why we show up for our businesses, right? To serve, to transform lives. And so if your content isn't stirring through stories, through activation, then it's just blah, right? You're going to continue to inspire and to motivate and to teach. And then your audience is just going to walk away like, oh, that was good, but they're not going to feel compelled to work with you, right? And so I'm so passionate about this, and I can't wait. We're going to jump into my CPR framework. This is actually the story-selling framework portion of it, because my main CPR umbrella framework is, first and foremost, to realign. That's always going to be number one. Always going to be number one. I point my clients back to Jesus. Like, yes, I am your coach. I'm going to walk alongside you. I'm going to guide you. But ultimately, you are a daughter of the Most High God, and God is the one who has created you. And so God is the one who's going to tell you who. I'm going to guide you with it, right? I'm going to help you to really discover what that is and help you to pinpoint it. But ultimately, it's so vital for you to have your own relationship with God and to realign with your creator, because only your creator can tell you why he created you. And so that is always number one. That's the first step, because that's the first step I did. I realigned with my creator for clarity on my calling. The second phase of my CPR framework is to redefine your messaging, or refine your messaging to align with your purpose, right? And then the third phase is to revive your business with purpose-driven revenue. And so reviving is is like, it aligns with my whole CPR framework, especially being a nurse and just using, like, often, like, God doesn't waste anything, right? And so I often use analogies from my nursing career that relates back to business. And the beautiful thing about my career is that I've been able to really take a lot of my nursing skills into my business. Really, when I'm helping my clients to really heal their belief system, heal their nervous system. And as they're growing their business, as they're stepping into the next level of who God is calling them to be, it's really important for them to heal along the way, so that when they get to that that goal, it doesn't all come crumbling down, right? Like, you have to have steadfast beliefs. You have to have a regulated nervous system that can handle what it is that God wants for you to have. He's already blessed you, but he wants to make sure that you are able to handle it, right? That you're already equipped, but he wants you to have the belief system, right? Man, I'm literally going down a whole rabbit hole. So let's just focus on what we came to focus on today. And so the first step of the CPR story-selling framework is context. So when you're creating content, you want to literally pull from whatever. And I'm going to give some examples in this live stream as well of how I do this and how it's so effortless to me now. And it's so exciting to create content now, because it's like, man, like I can pull from anything, like anything. You give me a topic, I can pull from it and relate it back to my business and how I can serve you and bring transformation. So for you who you're a transformational coach, you're bringing transformation to someone's life. You're taking them from their deep pain into their deep pleasure. You're taking them from their problem into their problem being solved. And so you're a transformational coach. And so it's really important that you see how anything in life you can take to prove your point of transformation for your clients. So let's see, one example. There's so many examples, but all right. Recently, just on Tuesday, my son, I had to drop him off to camp, church camp. It's a 3-day camp. And he was upset because he had to give up his phone for 3 whole days. So if you're a mom of a teenager, you already know. If you know, you know. Teenagers and their phones, it's like literally, it was almost like taking his oxygen. It's like you were asking him to take his oxygen away, his lifeline. He's just like, well, what if I need to call you? What if I need to contact you? Whatever. Anyway, so really, that is the context, right? That is literally the context. I was dropping my son off to school, to camp, and he had to give up his phone, right? And so when you are sharing context, you want to now just paint the picture. This is the scenario. This is the circumstance. This is just you kind of painting the picture of what was going on in the midst, right? And so I was in this place, I was doing this thing, I was feeling this type of way, right? Or whatever. He was in this place, he was doing this thing, he was feeling this type of way. He was thinking this thought, what if I need to reach you, right? And he was feeling frustrated, he was upset, right? So you want to, the context is actually going to lead into the next step inside of the CPR Story-Selling Framework. And this is showing the problem, right? So with the problem, there's going to be an overt problem and a covert problem, right? So the overt problem is very obvious. It's what's opened. It's easily observed. It's public. But the covert problem, that's a problem that's actually hidden. It's the underlying problem that you can't really see. And it's not easily noticed. It's like just that secret problem that you don't even realize you have. And so as a transformational coach, it's really important that when you are story selling, right, when you're creating your story selling content, you want to be able to depict what is the covert problem, what is the overt problem, and what is the covert problem, right? What is the obvious problem that's going on now, and what is the problem that they don't even realize is happening underneath? And so when you are able to shed light on that covert problem, it shifts their paradigm, right? And so we're going to go into the next step. But so in this scenario, this is just one quick example. I have so many examples, and I'll share a few more. But the overt problem was that my son was attached to his phone, right? He's attached to his phone. And the covert problem, the way I related this back to my business, is that this, in the same way that my son did not want to let go of his phone because he saw it as like his lifeline. It's the same way how a lot of my clients or a lot of my audience, they know they've been called to coach. They've started their coaching businesses, but they're still kind of relying so heavily on their 9-to-5, right? They're covertly, subconsciously so afraid to step out and see themselves as coaches full time. Like that's their dream. That's what they want. But subconsciously, they're like, well, I don't want to let go of stability. I don't want to let go of my paycheck every 2 weeks. I don't want to let go of maybe health insurance, right? I don't want to have to chase clients. There's like this this covert subconscious belief that is blocking them, right? And so just like my son with his phone, a lot of I work with high achieving women who have these job titles. Like same with me. I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse, right? I went to school. I studied. I took years of late nights, early mornings, studying constantly to pass test after test after test and going through clinicals. And, it's not easy. Nursing is not easy, right? It's a huge responsibility because you're dealing with people's lives, right? Your lives are on the line. And so that is a huge career title that I was very proud of. I am very proud of it. However, it took me a while to like not only identify as a nurse, but also as a speaker, as a coach, as an author, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. Because for so long, I was the employee, I was the nurse. And so now thinking as an entrepreneur, it's the same thing with the phone. It's like getting people, so many of my clients and so much of my audience, they're afraid to let go of this title. They're anchoring onto this title for like dear life as if it's their lifeline, right? And so that's the overt problem and the covert problem, right? So they're attached. My clients are, just as my son was attached to his phone, my clients, they're attached to their job titles. They're covertly afraid. And so so we're going to actually move on to the next phase of the CPR framework. The next phase of the CPR framework is the revelation, right? So now it's like you're putting revelation, you're opening their eyes to see like what that covert problem is and how they need to shift their paradigm, right? How they need to shift their thinking, how they need to shift how they're looking at it, right? And so what you need to show is what the whole concept of that post and that story. I'm actually I got a lot of good feedback from that story, but it's like your business breakthrough begins with surrender, right? So surrendering that title, surrendering the, just the thought of the identity that you had attached to just this one title, right? There was such a heavy identity because you can be this and that, right? I'm still a nurse. I'm not actually working in a hospital setting, but I'm still a nurse technically, right? And so I am a nurse, but I'm also so much more. And so you have to surrender what that title is, what that identity is. You got to surrender it because business breakthrough happens in the surrender. When you lay it at God's feet and you're like, God, okay, I'm letting go of this title. And I can speak to this because it was so hard for me. I'm letting go of this title. I've been gripping it for dear life. I'm so afraid to give it up, but I know you're calling me to the next level, right? I'm afraid to let go of the steady paycheck. And I'm going to step into the calling that you have on my life as an entrepreneur. I'm going to step into the calling that you have on my life as a coach. I'm going to step into the calling that you have on my life as a speaker, as a teacher, as a leader, right? Like, this is what I had to get that revelation. Like, I had to surrender it to God. Literally the first step of my CPR framework is to realign with my creator for clarity on my calling. So Lord, if this nursing career, if I'm feeling so confined and so unfulfilled here, I had to realign with my Heavenly Father for clarity. And this is what I help my clients to do. This is literally the first step, realigning for clarity, right? And then after the after your revelation and you're like opening your client's eyes to say, oh my gosh, right? So pretty much like with the problem area, it's like you're stirring up their pain because you're speaking to their frustrations. You're speaking to their frustrations, but then, so that is the overt is their frustration. The covert is their fears. I can tell you as a coach, time and time again in my sessions with my clients, and the covert is always fear. So even with my root system that I use to help my clients to uproot the subconscious beliefs that they're not even aware that they have, that are actually blocking their business success. When we get to the root of it, the root of it is always a fear. And this is what the enemy uses. He uses the spirit of fear to stop you right in your track, right? And so you want to bring awareness to your clients. You want to bring this revelation in your content marketing so that they can see like how their actions, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and what they're doing is leading to their results, leading to the results they don't want. So you're speaking to that frustration and you're helping them to see like it's because of this underlying root. Then is where you lead to, after the revelation is where you lead to your call to action. And in your call to action, you want to actually say, well, in this phase of my signature framework, in phase 2 of my signature framework, I help you to refine your messaging to align with your purpose, right? That's me, where I help you to create converting messaging. I help you to not only, because this is what I do inside of my CPR framework. Like literally, this is the second phase of it, where I help you to not only create content, but to create content that's actually converting, and have fun with it. Have fun with it. This is just one quick example. There's so many more examples. Inside of my CPR framework, inside of that second phase, where we refine your messaging, I'm helping you to literally, I help my clients to be able to pull in their best clients, right? I speak about best versus blah. So you don't want to speak to blah clients. When you speak to blah clients, people who are blocked emotionally, physically, financially blocked, mentally blocked, they're not ready. When you're speaking to people who are not ready, they're blah, they're blocked, they're lazy, they're aimless, they have no vision, and they are hesitant, right? So they're blocked, they're not ready to work with you. So when you're marketing to people like that and you're thinking of your clients that way, that's who you're calling in. So I help my clients to shift from that and speak to their best clients. Brilliant. They are brilliant, right? They're energetically aligned with you. They are self-sufficient. They're not relying on you. Yes, and the T is trustworthy. They're trustworthy because it's like they're trusting you to guide them, but then you're also trusting them as the client to do the work, right? To do the work. You're a guide, not a ride for your clients. They understand that it's going to take work, and they're willing to put the work in to get the results they want to see in their business, right? And so I help my clients to not only sell with stories, but to really be able to link it back to their offers, right? I go deeper inside of my coaching program with this, but when you can show, when you can go through this process, create speak about the context, you're pulling them in with a story, in the middle of a story, you're speaking to the problem, the overt problem, the covert problem, and then you're bringing that revelation to them, oh, this is why you're getting the results you're getting, right? You think it's the phone, but it's actually your attachment to the phone. It's actually your attachment to that title, to that identity, right? And so when you bring that revelation, it's oh, and in my coaching program in phase 2, this is where I help you to break that down, right? This is where I help you to overcome this problem that you're having. You see how you relate it back? And so I use this context, I use this framework inside of with my reels, with my emails, and I pull from everything. I never run out. This is how you never run out of content ideas. I have so many ideas in my brain. Literally last night, I was all right, I need to write these down so I don't forget them, because there's so much. I gave the first one with my son and the phone because that was the most recent. That happened this week, 2 days ago. So there's another one, the mango tree. There's a mango tree. I was literally sitting outside last week in my backyard, and I'm like, my neighbor has a mango tree, and I love my neighbors. They have so many fruits and vegetables in their yards, so many different trees. But my favorite fruit is mango. And from I got here, I moved to Miami 4 years ago almost. And in the 4 years I've been living here, this mango tree never bared any fruit. I actually did a live about it. One of my lives was about this. And it was just so the covert problem, so the overt problem is this mango tree is not bringing any fruit. But the way I related it back was, this is how a lot of my audience looks like when they are clocking into their 9-to-5s. They're miserable. They know that God is calling them for more. They know that they're not living out their God-given purpose. They're truly unfulfilled. They want to be able to make profit from their purpose. They want to be present with their children and to be more active in their children's lives. They don't want to have to rely on a paycheck, on a capped income, right? They want to have multiple streams of income. And so I use this mango tree analogy to really just speak to the fact that God is calling his daughters to be fruitful. They're not living out their purpose. Just like this mango tree is sitting here for 4 years and never bared one mango. What are you doing clocking into that job that God, like you're just stuck in this thing? Like maybe God called you there for a season, but now that season has passed. It's time to bear fruit. It's time to bear fruit. It's time to be fruitful. It's time to multiply. It's time to live out your purpose. That the purpose of that mango tree, it looks beautiful. It's a beautiful, healthy tree. From the outside, you would look at it and you're like, why is this not bearing? Because it's so vibrant, tall, beautiful leaves, but it's not fulfilling its purpose. The whole purpose of a mango tree is to bear mangoes, right? And it's not doing that. And so that's just another example. Another one, I'll just give one more. I guess, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was our live yesterday, our daily dose yesterday or the day before, where I mentioned my husband and I going to the Coca-Cola factory, and they had their vault with their secret formula. And I used that whole analogy of the secret formula because their secret formula truly was their why. It was their mission statement. The secret formula wasn't so much the ingredients, but it was their intention behind starting their business. It was their why. They wanted to inspire families. They wanted to be in the midst of these amazing moments in families' lives, right? And so that was their underlying mission statement. And so your secret formula is your why for your business. And this is why Coca-Cola is now a multi-billion-dollar business, because they stuck to their why. Their secret formula was their why. Who they're serving, how they're achieving their goals, and who are they yielding? They're yielding to their mission, right? So that was their why. So there's so much. I could go on and on and on. One more. Another one was last week was my dad's birthday, and he turned 70, right? So he was literally entering to a new season in his life, a new decade in his life. But my dad, he's a chef, right? He's a chef. And so he doesn't try new things. He doesn't try new restaurants. He sticks to what he knows, his own recipes, right? His own comfort zone, right? So the context, my dad's birthday, the problem, he didn't want to go out to eat. He didn't want to celebrate. He wanted to just stick to what he knew, his own kitchen, his own recipes, his own ingredients, all of that, right? So he wasn't willing to step out and venture into something new. He wasn't, but the underlying thing was he wasn't, the covert was, he didn't want to be seen. He didn't want to celebrate, right? He didn't want all the attention on him. And so that is like the covert messaging behind it, where I took my dad's birthday and like related it back to my audience. Like, like you've been in your comfort zone for way too long. God is calling you to try new restaurants, to try new things, to do this new business, to step into your calling. But you're too stuck. You're so afraid to put yourself out there and to be seen. That's the covert problem, right? So the revelation of it is you can't step into your new season of life if you're too afraid to be seen, if you're too afraid to be celebrated for your gifts. So my dad was so used to taking his gifts and serving others with it that he did not want to put himself in an unfamiliar restaurant or out of his comfort zone of his own kitchen to allow his gifts to be the same gift to be poured back to him, right? And so the same revelation is like, you're so comfortable in your job, right? You're so comfortable in the season that you're in that you're not wanting to step out into this new season. You're not wanting to try new things, to step into your calling, to get uncomfortable, to get out of your own kitchen and experience someone else's restaurant, right? And to experience your calling on another level. And so this is the revelation behind it. So there's so much ways that you can literally pull scenarios after scenarios, stories after stories, and I can go on and on and on and on. There's so much more, but I don't want to drag this live out, but you get the whole concept. For you to never run out of content ideas and to activate converting messaging, it's important that you highlight their problem, bring revelation, bring that paradigm shift, create that emotional charge within them. And then it really speaks to this story selling framework. Also, really quickly, the story selling framework also speaks to the phases of your client's journey, right? So your client's journey, like the first step is awareness, right? This is top of funnel. This is just awareness of who you are, what you do, how you can help them, right? Just having that awareness, that level of awareness. It also speaks to consideration, which is the next phase of your client's journey, where it's like, you know, they're aware of you, they're aware of what you do. So now it's like that consideration. And the way this speaks to it is when you actually, like, at the call to action part is where you say, okay, well, in my CPR framework, I help you with exactly this, converting messaging, converting marketing inside of the second phase, where we're refining your messaging to align with your purpose, right? We're helping you to do story selling framework. This is what I literally teach inside of the second phase. So now you're kind of like helping them in that consideration, because they're like, for me to get this story selling framework or the story selling formation, like I have to work with her so that I can learn how she does it, right? Or it's like where the consideration phase, as well as like your own signature, your unique signature framework. It's your own methodology. It's your own values. It's your own mission. It's your vision. So like making sure that your clients really align. This is the consideration phase. And then finally, the decision phase is where you're speaking to that urgency, right? So after your call to action, you're like, well, if you're tired, I'll just bring it back to my son, where if you're tired of staying in your comfort zone because you're so attached to this title, you're so attached to this identity, and you're ready to activate and to step into the true divine identity that God has called you to be, you're ready to step into your new season of life, right? You're ready for your business breakthrough, and you're ready to surrender and let go of the things that are holding you back. Comment or DM me, coach, and I'll send you the link to register, right? So that is just how you can literally take your content ideas, never run out of them, take stories from everyday life. There's another one where my son is learning how to drive, right? And I shared this recently on a lot. Like, there's so many things all throughout your day-to-day life, just living, that you're going to get revelation from and bring it back to your offer. I teach you how to create a compelling offer, converting marketing, and consistent sales by registering for the Call to Coach workshop. You can just comment coach and I'll send you the link, or you can check the description. And I'm going to walk you through the 3 secrets for you to be able to transition into coaching full time inside of this workshop. All right. And there's so much more that I wanted to share. There's so much. But I'm telling you, this concept of activating converting messaging works. Like, I'm getting constantly, just with my emails, with my reels, with my content that I put out, with this framework, with this CPR story-selling framework, it activates my audience on another level. And I'm getting constant applications and just DMs, messages, comments about how I can help them, right? Because of this converting messaging. And so for your business breakthrough, you need to have compelling, converting messaging, convicting, clarity, like, and watch, I'm going to watch this video here where I spoke about why it's so vital for you to have your own signature framework as a coach. All right. I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. Comment coach for the Call to Coach workshop, where I'm going to break down how literally the 3 secrets that you need to transition into coaching full time. And that is your that is today's episode of the Daily Dose. I pray that it has been a blessing to you. If you have any questions, be sure to just leave a comment. And I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. I'm going to tell you, just as God told me, put one foot in front of the other, step out on faith, and trust God for the next step. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.